People are really mad at this Shiloh Hendrix lady. I think it's hilarious. And, you know, we just saw a black kid stab a white dude, a white kid, in the fucking heart. And, like, ran a successful GoFundMe to the cheers of black people everywhere. I don't think they realize the damage they've done. Aunt Kumia had was showing a segment from a podcast where it was like a black show. A couple black guys sitting there. And one of them was just going over why people don't like them. And laying it all out. And the other guys, like, who was with him was like, well, who do you think likes us? And right away he says, white people. And the guy started laughing. And he's like, no, they're the only ones, you know, that will deal with us, you know. He taught us how to read. He went down the whole list of things, you know. And he's right, you know, white people are the only ones that kind of tolerate them and allow them, and kind of stupidly, you know. Although I would say, like, when I was growing up, it wasn't anything like it is now. You know, I almost had black in-laws. That's inconceivable to me now. And it's, you know, even though it would make people mad, it's not really their fault, because they've always been under some sort of heavy magic. You know, okay. Sorry. All right, yeah, this is the thing, you let people go because they'll play games with you all day. They're under some heavy black magic. They're always the group that gets fucked with first. I'm not trying to, you know, be sympathetic to their cause, because I'm really not. But after the civil rights movement, they really screwed their family up, their family unit up. All the things that were put in place to make their lives better actually made it worse. Fatherlessness became incentivized. More kids, more money. No dad, more money. It's kind of the same, and the way they broke the black family up is the same way that they're now visiting upon everyone. So it's almost like they use them for like a test run on stuff. So they've always been getting fucked with. But the Obama thing, when he came in, you know, as I've explained before, every president has a set of spells. They don't create the spells. They don't even work them up. They just verbally deliver them. They're the ones that have to cast the spell, for better or worse, you know. Well, usually for worse. How you doing? So they, yeah, he cast the, well, there was a couple things he did, but the racism thing was one of them. I mean, he brought the racism back. I can almost pinpoint it down to the exact moment. And I know I've told this story a lot of times, but, you know, I heard my, let me see if I know what's going on. Alright, let's get some weird fucking vibes. I heard Ethan Van Sciver talk about repeating things. He was talking to his group of people. I know I'm on the third fucking subject now. But he was saying, you know, I know a lot of you guys hear this stuff all the time, but you have to repeat things, especially when it comes to truth. You know, he said, people read the Bible over and over again for truth. And he's not trying to equate himself, and I'm certainly not trying to equate myself with the Bible. But he said, when you have truth that people need to hear, it has to be repeated over and over again. So when I explain how you are not your body, you are a energy being in your body, I say it a lot, and a lot of the same things I say, I have to keep saying them over and over again. You know, I have to do that. That's something crisis about that lately. And when I heard him say that, it kind of clicked in my head, like, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, so I'm going to bring it back to the same story I've told a million times, where I think was where I pinpointed exactly how the first spell was cast, or where it began, or the chain of spells, when he said he was doing one of his speeches, one of his victory kind of I'm president now kind of speeches. It was pretty early on too. And he was doing his thing, his jibber jabber bullshit, his hibbity jibbity, and he was like, you know, Michael and I have noticed there are a lot of people in this country aren't really happy that a black man is president. And like, everybody was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Because everybody voted for him, you know. They set it up so that you couldn't vote for the other candidate. He was definitely there. They weren't even trying with that side. That was a whole ruse going on. But the McCain, it's like he was purposely put in there. And then, like, you know, not long after, he went and officially switched sides. But none of that's real anyway. None of that's real. But when he said that, it's like, although a lot of white people in the country were like, what are you talking about? Black people, their ears perked up. And they're like, what did he say? And we're like, no, don't listen to him. It's not true. And it was like, they just heard that and they were just like, I knew it. And that was the beginning. And skip ahead, almost 20 years later, and here we are in this fucking mess. Is Ross open? Why would they be closed? Are they open? Oh yeah, they are open. I'll be right back. So yeah, that was the beginning. That was the beginning, and now it's worse than ever. So, I mean, I've talked about it before. My Twitter feed, my X feed, is just a whole bunch of black on white crime, just horrible shit too. Men attacking women, men attacking kids, men killing women, men killing kids, gangs of people, you know, it's pretty bad, and I can't be the only one seeing all this. Of course I'm not. And people are just kind of getting sick of it. They've been sick of it. You know, the black fatigue is like a real thing. You hear more about that all the time. I did a video about it myself. And you got guys, like black guys that were born and raised in this weird environment where it's post-Obama, in the social situations that they can do basically anything they want, clown on anyone they want, be as violent and as dangerous and as criminal as they want, and no one can really say anything. So we have these guys now, they're in their 20s that, you know, no wonder you see them on TikTok talking about going out and getting a posse together for white people, you know? It's fucking crazy, because they've never had anyone clap back at them. Well, that's going to start to happen. You know, I could feel it. People can feel it. You know, it's in the air. And this thing here with Shiloh here, a lot of people see that and they say, yes, thank you. Thank you. Back in the day, no one would really drop the N-bomb. It wasn't looked at as the sacred power word that it is now. I mean, it's handled now like fucking, it's an incredible, like, magic word. It's like fucking 6th level for Dungeons and Dragons. Like, it's really fucking, it's a heavy duty word, you know? It can immobilize people, it can get them to kill you. It's fucking bizarre. Back in the day, it wasn't such a big deal, though. Used to hear it all the time on radio shows, comedy stuff. Howard Stern would say it every fucking show. They'd always do, like, these black impressions, and and it's funny what happened with that guy, too, the way he is now. Let me just walk over here, closer to the street. Don't take any chances. My onboard alarm was going off there. Usually, once I see the yellow of their eyes is when it starts going beep, beep, beep. Yeah, but among me and my friends, it wasn't cool to say something like that. And occasionally, when someone would, they would get, like, shamed. You know, it'd be like, oh man, come on. You know, what are you saying? What do you do? You know, that's how it was. now it's probably the most popular word for white people in 2025. You know, people can't stop saying it, you know, but they don't say it in front of them because, again, you know, then they have some maniac trying to stab them. So, if, you know, I don't know if they know it or not, but we wait till they're gone, then everybody starts saying it all the time. And yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. You brought on yourselves. But yeah, they really did. Like the fucking behavior they've shown over the past how many ever years has just been horrible. You know, I mean, burning down cities and to defend a fentanyl fucking guy who put a pregnant woman, a gun up to a pregnant woman's belly. Like they could ever, if that fucking kid, that tarantula head there that stabbed the kid, if he went in there with a machete and killed everyone in that fucking tent, they'd still be backing him. They hate you. And it comes back to that guy on that podcast, like, their only fans are white people. And they hate them and want to kill them, you know? As far as who else they have, like they were talking about, there's no one else. Who likes them? The Indians? No. Asians don't at all. I mean, if anything, white people are really the only ones that aren't actively trying to remove them from society or, you know, just disdain them openly. And they've kind of lost that now, too, because of what they've been doing, you know, for the past dozen years or so. I mean, it's one thing, right, to let them act crazy and fucking get all burning down things and stealing things, getting away with doing stuff. That's one thing. But at the very same time, to try to demonize whites, which is what they do in the culture, you can't do both. Because whites are a capable group. And there's still a lot left. And their average stats make them the most dangerous group of people in the world. You know, like that other black dude was saying in that interview I was talking about the other day. There is no black Navy. There is no black army. You know, and I would go further and say there is no all-female army. There is no homosexual special ops group. The conquerors are white dudes. They fucking haven't been beat yet. And whenever it comes down to something like that, I would refer you to Congo. Forget what was that. It was funny. They had some kind of skirmish where it was like, I forget how many British troops. It was like a handful. And they beat like a whole army of Congolese. And when they took the weapons, they were confused because they had where the sight was cranked all the way to the right. So when you look through it, things were right in front of you, and they, why would you do that? How do you see through that thing? Things appear right close up in your face. And it turns out they thought the more you turned it to the right, the harder the gun would shoot. So they all had them cranked up. You know, it's like kids, man. It's almost funny, but not really when you see how fucking evil they are over there and what they do to people, what they do to each other. They don't like each other. You know, it's like fucking, you know, the stuff they do to each other that a lot of people don't get to see because they don't visit Pole regularly, would make people vomit. There's guys over there now that work in different sort of outreach kind of groups, teachers or Doctors Without Borders. They're not allowed to report in any official capacity about what they're seeing and what they're experiencing over there. But they put stuff in blogs, like their own experiences in Africa and some really scary shit. And the scary part isn't just the violent madness and the rape and all that, but it's the mindset, it's the brain, when you realize just exactly what you're dealing with here. There's a lot of stories from there, but some of the ones that stick out most to me is not having a concept of time at all. There's no word for time in any of the many different languages they have over there. And this teacher was like, he pulled into a parking space. It's just anecdotal type of stuff. It's not about, like killing white people. And he had his car there, and someone came and parked behind him, a group of people. And he's like, "Oh, I'm leaving there. Could you not box me in?" And they're like, "Oh, you leaving now?" And he's like, "No, I'm going to be leaving later." So, "Oh, all right." And they just walked away. And he's like, "No, could you not box me in?" "Well, you leaving?" "Not right now." "Oh, okay." And then they walked through. Like, they didn't understand that. There's a lot of that goes on. And that all has to do with the brain, man. I touched upon it here. But the big thing that makes them different than almost any other group of people on the planet Earth, that separates them, and really there's no one even close. I think the closest, I don't remember who the closest was, maybe Indian people who have a similar brain structure, not nearly as different as them, but it's like they were made on another planet. It's fucking weird. And, the physiology is all different too. I mean, muscle mass, bone density, all that kind of stuff. But the brain is what causes all the problems, because they're interpreting the world in such a different way that it makes communicating about aspects of reality almost impossible. They're seeing something different. They have completely different neural pathways, and they're experiencing something different than you. And that's always going to cause problems, Another thing he said, which leads into a whole pre-biblical history thing that I'm just not going to get into here, and I will one day when I can figure out how to do it safely. He was puzzled by the joy they took in hurting and killing each other. It happens a lot, and he said they always laugh. And the thing is, I've seen stuff like this because I do visit Paul. Over the years, you would see they have all these different awful fucking ways of killing each other. Of course, everyone's heard of the, what's that called, the necktie thing, where they put the tire on their head and they light it on fire. But they'll, hang each other up and chop each other's arms off. And I was watching this one particular one, and they had this guy kind of in a crucifix pose. And he was over fire, and he's holding his legs up. And they were just roaring. They were laughing so hard at his predicament. Now, the whole time he's like complaining about his arm being, the thing they had his arm tied up with was too tight. He's worried about that, right? As he's, facing death. It's like he didn't realize, like, it's fucking bizarre. Again, it's the brain situation. And at one point, they set him on fire, and he's not really freaking out like you would think. The guy looked more like annoyed, like he was being put out, like, oh man. He just didn't seem to understand, right, the situation he was in. So at one point, I don't know where this guy's going, probably where I am. Yep. So bad. So at one point his arm comes off, and they started laughing like they were at the Apollo. And again, not much of a reaction from the guy being burned to death. I got the impression that he probably still felt that, they were going to let him out, or he was going to walk away from this, or his wrist really hurt, while he's having his arm burned off. It's fucking weird. It's like they don't react how you think they will, but all the other guys are falling about the place, laughing, like, it's so funny. And that's what the guy was talking about. Like, they take so much real joy in hurting and killing people. They cook each other. That's where that thing comes from, where I talk about they should take his nights off before they boil him, because they chopped up this one guy and they were cooking him in a big pot, and they'd pose down for the camera, and then they'd drink it out of ladles. They're going, ooh, ooh, make all these noises and stuff. And the foot, one of the feet still had the fucking sneaker on it. It's like, damn, man, at least take the fucking sneaker off. So that's where the night gives you flavor thing comes from, that I say. Yeah, it's weird. Like their whole attitude toward death and violence is just fucking completely different. It's completely different. And to go back to this, I think this guy, I don't know if he was a doctor or a teacher. He was one of those things, because mainly these guys that make these blogs, they're usually with like Doctors Without Borders or some kind of, teach Africans how to fucking HTML, kind of one of those kind of programs. He was like, it's evil. He said it's almost like looking at them, it's like they're born evil. So I'm not like a spiritual guy or anything, but no one would be laughing like this or get this much joy out of hurting another person. And then I heard one of these bow tie guys, these guys at work at that have tenure in these universities that are there forever, and they talk about genociding white people, how great it would be, and everybody claps. They wear the bow ties and they got the glasses, and they're always talking, but they have a lot of big words, but they don't really know what they mean, and they use them wrong. And then if they talk for more than 5 minutes, you start getting agitated and mad. Those kind of guys. They were going on about how pre-biblical history was racist, and that it was being fashioned by the white man to make black people look bad in some kind of way. And I heard a couple times, and I said, what the fuck are they talking about? How can the early Bible be racist? They're not even really mentioned in it. Not directly, anyway. Although they'll tell you all these different things. Like, you see where the sun was on his back? The sun on his back? That's us. Say, all right, whatever. No one's going to argue with you because you freak out at some point. Try to stab someone in the chest. So, I started looking into that whole thing. And like I said, I don't know how I could explain it safely. Because there are some things that I think, I joke about the ban, but yeah, I do want to put the ban off as long as I can. And I don't know, it just takes the wrong set of eyes. I know I've been being watched. A settled science, just confirmed. But they're not part of Adam's failure. God said Adam was the first man, His son was Cain, and you might have heard that thing where they're like, oh, black people have the mark of Cain. That's a red herring. They do not have the mark of Cain. In fact, Cain was afraid of them because they lived in the cities. I believe, in my opinion, they were the people that Cain was afraid of in the cities. But either way, it appears that they were around before Adam. Like, even if you take that one story about Cain afraid to go to cities because they're already there. So, what lineage are they part of? Well, think of something like, it's just so crazy. It's so crazy. I'll just tell you, they're not part of my lineage, and it has to do with what this place was initially created as, which was a test area, a school, an incubator, an egg, a place for us to grow. That's why that's why there's time here, and nowhere else. Where we come from, there's no time. Time's just a concept tied to this place because they needed us to grow. And when I say us, I mean all of us that are connected to our divinity or have God or understand God in some way. How you doing? That's not everybody. You still have the Hylics, the 95% background people, as Dolores Cannon called them. But those of us that are are of this, are God's kid, are split up into all these different points of attention that express themselves as separate individuals. But ultimately, we're all one thing. We're split up in all these different bodies so that we can learn quicker, I guess. I don't know why it is, but it is. And there are a lot of people here, there's 95% that I was talking about, are made to help facilitate the tests. You know, you need other people here that look like you to make these tests happen so that you can learn stuff. But you can't have other beings like you, other God's kids like you teaching you. This is our own special egg, our own special incubator just for us. It's been hijacked though, and that's a whole different story. It's turned from a school into a farm, but that's another video. These guys were part of that crew. In fact, I believe they were the first beings created for this place to use to facilitate these tests, and we're actually here before we got here. God's child, God's son, the first of Adam. Now, sorry, I try to light this fucking thing for 10 minutes. Hold on, I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. So there's one of two theories. One, they were created by some of the guys that originally came here to set this place up. There were people here on behalf of God that were here to run the place, set this place up. Those are the guys that flipped the script and hijacked the place, turned the school into a farm. The music teacher did this, and he had, a third of the angels who of the staff went along with him. And you have this place now. Long story, another day. But they were setting the place up. So anyone created before Adam's line, Adam was created by God. So the people that were here before were created for the system by the staff, led by the music teacher. And suddenly I was like, oh, this is what they're talking about. Is that what happened? I don't know. A lot of things point to it being yes, though. And if it did, if it was true, it would make a lot more sense about the actions and the way they behave and the way they kill people with glee. This was not like this, though, before the Obama thing. Something happened there. The spellcraft, the golems were activated, very old Yiddish magic, which made them the way they are now. And now they're supposed to be like this for the end times. They're put here. Everything, was done before now. And people are like, well, that's centuries ago. How do they know it was going to be like this? This is a whole nother story. We are in Schizo Garage, so they operate outside time. All you need is some spun mercury, the color purple Huan. I got fucking ChatGPT to confirm this with me after rope-a-doping him. Because you can rope-a-dope those things. I'll try to pull up the screenshots from it. Or at least he confirmed that's how it's done. That's how you do it. When you see a lot of the craft that are around, the older ones anyway, the older fucking spacecraft, they're like that because they got to get a spin going. They're spinning. The liquid mercury has to be spun at such speeds that it becomes like an aerosol. And whatever you want to have moved out of this dimension, you have to tag with purple Huan. Back in the day, in the older craft, the insides would be all purple Huan. They'd wear robes of purple Huan, which tied into some of those old rituals. Now, I guess they have it down set with the technology that you put like a little stamp, a purple Huan stamp on something. And whatever has to move will be moved in that manner. You don't have to do the whole interiors like that. And now they have it to a point where they don't have to have saucers. They have, I guess, like a new Sherman-Williams paint mixer like chamber where they can do that with the the aerosol right there without having to have the shit be the thing that spins to move it. Whole different. I don't. Am I lost the plot here? That's the thing, is I have a lot of knowledge about stuff, but sometimes it takes me a while to start cooking where I can dole it out, you know. Dolomite. Speaking of black people, but yeah, so they're from another line. They're from another line. One more directly under the control of the people who made them, or created them in the first place. You know, they I don't think they were created evil, because that would make no sense. You know, why would they put evil stuff here with us? But the people that created them have the genetic keys to control them. That's where you have the Obama spell comes into play, and what you have today. If you follow me this far with this thing, God bless you. Now again, I could be wrong completely. I'm not saying this is true. None of it. I don't know. It's just all speculation, just theory, and for entertainment purposes only. See how it resonates with you. See how it hits when you hear this information. See if it jiggles anything in your fucking spiritual shit test meter that's in you. You know, we can tell what are lies from what are truth by the frequency they're on. Truth and lies have a different frequency. We're just frequency. Sometimes you just know. Like, oh, this guy's fucking with me, and I know he's not being honest. You don't know how you know, you just know. Because you're reading the frequency. You might not understand it, but there's a lot of things you don't understand about yourself that, you know. Oh, see that? He put I don't know if I got to see it, but he has a beach chair on a motor. I've seen him before in Kalakaua. Years ago, I haven't seen that guy in a while. Yeah, he rides around on this fucking, he put an engine on the fucking beach chair, and he fucking cooks. Like, he goes real fast. Like, he doesn't wear a helmet either. We're gonna leave it at that. Something funny. We're gonna leave it at something funny, because it's kind of fucking depressing and weird, all this shit. Look at it yourself. All the information is there. You just go look at it yourself, you know, and see what you think about it. But, you know, that just may be why, because people say it too, like, what happened to them? They're activated. Like sleeper cells. People gotta start pushing back, though. You know, like this, it's a nice start, but people have to stop being right about being called names. Because, you know, because if you don't do it, your kid's going to have to deal with it. Thanks for dropping in. Till next time, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.